Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today I'm going to be checking out a track from an act named Ellis Hadlock Music, titled Morning After Feel. And if we switch over to here, we have the track on Bandcamp. We're going to just have a quick look at the art here for it. Got a woman dancing with the birds and everything like that, so that's dope. I have listened to a fair bit of Ellis Hadlock's music before, and I typically enjoy my time with it. And I'm looking forward to listening to more of it today. So we're going to listen through this track from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Oh, phenomenally beautiful with a... Oh. Is this quite different to what we usually have? Oh, those pretty little dancing synth leads on top of the pads. Great hook theme, man. Oh, fantastic pad. Okay. Oh, great extra texture here with the guitars as well. I like the effects chain on it. Nicely filtered here. Some chorus or something on it, maybe some repeaters. It's a ballsy move having the vocals come in this late in a song with vocals, because I can see there's lyrics down here, you know. We'll have a look through the lyrics in a moment, but yeah, usually you get them in at 30-second mark though. To be fair, Ellis Hadlock is a great musician, and I trust their composition skills and their intuition there. I look forward to what comes next.
Communicating what she's after. Conversation translates into bad decisions in the making. Empty eyes and traumatized. I wanna be your one and only.
Fantastic use of vocals there. I love those melodies there. They never truly resolve with the rest of the arrangement. There's a sense of uncertainty there, and I like how almost exotic it is. And with the basses and the pads and the drums, there's an interesting beat on there where we aren't just rolling with the quarter notes for the snares and kicks. We have some eighth note sort of claps or alternate thuds there as well. I'm enjoying the combination elements we have anyways.
Cigarette at sundown, taking over every thought. She knows we're headed for disaster. Lock those windows, shut the doors, forget about the morning after.
I love that vibrato there that we have as well coming occasionally. I'm not sure what kind of effects chain we have on the vocals there, but I like the tone that we have, the attitude behind it. It's different to what I'm used to. I like how we're gradually including different elements and additional layers into the main composition, just because we're aware that every time we go through a section, it might be good to have a little bit of extra interest in there. Something to kind of spice it up or zazz it up, you know? That comes with experience, and at this point I think Ellis Hadlock's kind of getting the right idea about a lot of stuff, which is great.
And just to feel your skin on mine.
I'm kind of wondering, we had that top synth string kind of just go, like stop immediately. I'm wondering if that was a deliberate decision to cut it short like that, or whether we could have potentially had it kind of go a little bit over, if that makes sense. Just to kind of slide into the next part. But it's cool either way.
Conversation translates into bad decisions in the making. Empty eyes and traumatized. It's funny how these things just fall apart. Taking over every thought. She knows we're headed for disaster. Lock those windows.
There's a lot of power in the vocals. I'm wondering if there's meant to be more oomph in like the low to mids. Like it's well mixed, but it's also like, I don't know how to describe it. It's very relaxing and constant in its perceived loudness and the energy with that. And I don't mind that. Maybe we're going for something that's sort of more relaxing, contemplative than anything else.
The doors, forget about the morning after. How could I ever say anything but yes to being what you'd expect of me? I wanna be your one and only. I wanna be your one and only.
Great use of the guitar solo here. I wasn't expecting that. I'm not sure why I didn't expect that, because we do have a guitar in there, and whenever there's a rhythm guitar, usually there's a lead, but it's kind of in the great sea that is this. Oh. That we had there for a moment was perceivably louder than some of the other parts we've had there. I'm not sure if that was a deliberate decision to have that as more of a kind of a stunning kind of thing or not, but it's an interesting mix.
Leather jacket, love scene, baby. Flick your cigarette at sundown. Taking over every thought, she knows we're headed for disaster. Lock those windows, shut the doors. Forget about the morning after. How could
Sorry about that, by the way. I thought I could press the X and get rid of it. Yeah, so I basically had to read through an entire contract to be able to get rid of that blue bar up there. So that was great.
I ever say anything but yes to being what you'd expect of me? I wanna be your one and only.
Like, I like the creativity here, because I haven't really had this kind of intensity with an outro vocal section in a while, but I'm also wondering about the context. I have questions about the context of it. Again, I don't necessarily dislike it. You know, don't get me wrong. Because we've got some lyrics here. Hang on. Yeah, I don't know if you can see them, but I can certainly see the lyrics now. It's very big on my screen. So this is like a high-energy pop song, all about the one and only. Yeah, so I think that this is about someone who's maybe a little bit edgy, a little bit exotic, a little bit alternative. It's like that kind of rocker girl, kind of chic look, you know, the tattooed covered skin, the stereo, leather jacket, love scene, baby. Flex your cigarette at sundown. Evocative. With the imagery there, I like the fact that it's allowing the listener to imagine it. Taking over every thought, she knows we're heading for disaster. Yeah, I can relate to that, man. Sometimes you're with people and you know it's going to be an absolute train wreck, an absolute mess, but you're like, maybe it'll work this time. How did I ever say anything but yes to being what you'd expect of me? I want to be your one and only. Yeah, no, I get it. Because this is effectively my conclusion to this review of this track by Ellis Hadlock, titled Morning After Feel. Okay, let's talk about Morning After Feel. I mean, I think we kind of did talk about what it was about in the lyrics section, but yeah, I stand by my statement there. I believe that this track is about someone who's so enamored by someone despite the consequences of that they're going to stick with that person because they're their ride or die, you know, they're the one or only. And I can relate to that. I'm sure a lot of people will also be able to relate to that. So I'm sure that people from a story basis will probably be able to enjoy and appreciate it. The singing is great. You know, I liked the tone, voice, the attitude behind it. The range that we sat in above the bass and kicks and those 80s kind of sort of bassy parts we had alongside the pads and lead. And it was very, very contemporary production where people in 2022 are going back to 1982 for inspiration. This is the way music loops. Who knows? Maybe we'll be doing grunge in 2030 again. But I think that's great because there's a lot we can take from that time period. I mean, as with many things in life, I think some of the music in the 80s just became too much. And so people had the anti kind of hair metal kind of grunge movement with grunge and a lot of those in the 90s, and then we slowly went back into boy bands. You know the deal, you know. But that's not what this is about. I think we understand the story. The vocals sounded nice and present within the mix. They're memorable. We had a consistency with the rhythmic sort of like delivery of it, which made it seem like we had the same vocals the entire time, apart from the whoa, that kind of stuff there. And again, I know there were variations to the vocal melodies there. Sometimes we had different tails on those melodies, but I feel like rhythmically we could have maybe slowed down at some bits just a little bit more, just to really differentiate between A and B, if you know what I mean. It's not a criticism. If that's the kind of vibe and flow we're going with, that's totally fine. Again, the vocal technique was great, and I don't have any complaints otherwise. I think it was really good. The structure of this track was, your traditional, I think, verse, chorus with the instrumental intro there and the outro, and it was fine, man. It was more than enough. Though we had a guitar solo, though. We did have a guitar solo, though, so points for that. I mean that genuinely. It's nice to have a separate lead element. It makes the lead say, if there's like a one vocalist in there, it just, 4.5 minutes nowadays for a lot of people with a shorter attention span can be a bit, so shaking it up a little bit is fine. I think that it's good to maybe in future, like, while I appreciate the strength of the musicality of this track and what we're doing with the arrangement from like my perspective as a musician, part of me also wonders if we could have come in a little bit earlier with some of those vocal bits just before the first minute. That's it otherwise, though. Everything else is stunning with that structure part. The instrumental performances from like, what we had going on with, the guitars and the bass and the drums and the synth, they meshed well together. I got lots of love for the kind of how beautiful and pretty and vibrant the entire sound of it was, with these interesting major and minor tonalities there. We had some extensions, but not a lot of them. It wasn't that harmonically complex. I like the bass guitar, how it didn't just roll with the root note. We explored the fretboard a little bit in our scale shapes. The drums as well were fantastic, and we had some different sort of like sampley Foley bits as well, so little drum parts like that kind of came in like between the guitar part of the last song and the outro chorus, which that's more of a production thing that I wasn't sure if they would the right fit, primarily because I think that some of these little bits of Foley were maybe a little bit louder than they should have been. Maybe it's just the headphones I'm wearing. That could genuinely be it, because these headphones are ruthless, All in all, though, I think it's a competent sort of like arrangement and composition. It's not like I was uninterested in it. I was fascinated by it. I aside from the comments about the rhythms of the vocals and stuff like that, so far I'm very happy with it. I mean, production-wise, the recording, mixing, mastering, it was pretty good. I'm not going to pretend that I was happy with the mixing of the track in regards to the perceived oomph that I would subjectively prefer from some of the bits, but then that's a tricky thing, because sometimes the more you just want a track to feel constant, and that can be something that people need. You don't just have to have massive tremors and like tiny bits. It doesn't need to be a humongous amount of dynamic range between the quiet and loud bits, even if it's mixed and mastered really well. It's just, and it's not that I'm saying that the mix was bad or average. I think it was a good mix. I can tell that the effects change and the EQing and the treatment of the various elements of the mix and the leveling of them was pretty good too. I'm just wondering if there was some sort of resonances in the low end that might have been making it sound a bit constant throughout. But then I know that we took away from it. I do think there were some bits where like we could have, like with the guitar into the outro chorus, I think we could have potentially had that a little bit quieter, or we could have potentially had that outro part louder. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at like the mix and master change of these tracks as well, because sometimes you just don't have a lot of wiggle room without getting rid of something that kind of needs to be there, And there's only so much removal and notch and filtering that you can do before you got to kind of just allow a song to be a song. You don't want to overdo the production side of things, right? Ultimately, though, I mean, it was mixed and mastered nicely. I think there was like the limiter wasn't shutting it down or anything like that. It just makes me wonder like what we could have done, because I don't know how to. I'll have to think about it. I'm not gonna make redundant statements here just for the sake of padding time or anything like that. I'm going to be thinking on this for the rest of the day. I'm mostly very happy with it, but I suppose it should be taken with a grain of salt, because if I can't properly articulate what it is about it I feel that's missing, everything else I think I've said today, though, has been valid At the very least, or the very most, I'm not sure. But thank you very much for watching my review of Ellis Hadlock's Morning After Feel. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go check out Ellis Hadlock's various social medias and his Bandcamp page. And stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.